Between what we've lived through and what our day jobs demand, we've spent some serious time researching neuroscience. The pattern we keep seeing is the way we think shapes the way we behave. And over time, those behaviors shape our outcomes, often before we even realize we've made a choice.
So in that research of neuroscience, it opened the door to neuroplasticity, habit loops, stress responses, microdecisions, all the brainy stuff that explains why just try harder is a trash strategy. In this lab, we're rewiring habits one experiment at a time.
Welcome to I² Lab. I was recently listening to a podcast about, it was about long-term weight loss and reaching your goal and maintenance. And the podcaster was interviewing a doctor on the show. And she said, boil it down to two things that really keep people from reaching their goal or maintaining whatever it is. And he said, I thought this was really interesting. That's why I wanted to talk about this with you today. Knowledge and priority. It comes down to two things, knowledge and priority. And I actually stopped the podcast because I was like, hold on. I'd listened to the rest of it at some point, but I was like, let's
marinate on that
let's
a little bit.
unpack this a little bit. Like, okay, if those two things are the keys to us actually, I'm here to we're here to figure this out. Is that individual correct? Are they missing something? When they say these things, this is what I think.
Yeah, what does that mean to you?
This is what it means to me.
Yeah.
Which is really kind of what it gets into when we talk about, you guys have heard us talk about a corollary in the past, which is you just putting into your own words what you've heard.
What it means to you.
What it means to you. It might not mean anything to someone else, but when this is said, like drinking your water, whatever it is going to hydrate you, somebody could put that into their own words. Like, well, for me, it means that I'm not going to have as much brain fog, and I'm actually going to be able to show up for my family in a certain way and be present, whatever it could be. So putting things into your own words is a corollary in our world of what we do during the day.
Right.
With this, knowledge is not just knowing something, but internalizing something. And then I want to pair this with a study that I heard. They were completely unrelated podcasts, but this one was super. This one got me. So we've been measuring cognition in students since the 1800s. I don't know how they do it, so I can't go into what they did to measure.
I can only imagine
children's cognition in the 1800s.
How they measured it in the 1800s.
But since then, someone has been measuring students, kids, cognition in school since the 1800s, and every generation has beat their previous generation in their cognitive ability. So there has been a small percentage increase in cognition in each generation since the 1800s, since they've been measuring it.
Which is the hopes and dreams.
That's just what you want.
Yeah,
you want your
amazing.
kids to be more cognitively flexible, resilient, all the things than you were. Because we need that. Our world is ever changing.
Yep.
Blah, blah,
Evolving.
blah. Yep. The last generation,
I think it's Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Yeah. Which is
It's not the latest one, because the latest one is Alpha, isn't it?
I don't know. I think this is the 20-somethings. It's the generation.
It's the 2000s, like the mid 2000s, 2010 something.
The ones that just entered the workforce right now, basically.
Yes.
Which I have Gen Z on my team, and she is amazing.
So do I. And he's amazing.
So
he's amazing.
Generations
So if they listen to this podcast, they're amazing.
Yeah, Generations is a bunch of stupid stuff.
We could get into
we could
that.
totally debunk it, but it's just grouping people into a category.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
The latest generation is the first generation since the 1800s that has shown cognitive decline from their parents. Their parents were actually had a higher cognition rating, whatever they do to measure this, than the Gen Z, their children. This is the first time it's happened. So this threw up a red flag. It wasn't by a ton. It was like 2.38% or something. But it is a decline.
But 2.3?
Yeah. It's significant.
2 whole percentage points.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not nothing.
Right.
It's not nothing. So they were like, okay, why? So they started to dig into causation and what happened between that last generation and this generation that's showing that degradation of cognition. Can we pinpoint it? So they whittled it down to around the year 2010. What happened in schools around that time? What was, and this isn't, a perfect, like this year, all the schools did this. I'm sure in rural communities, this happened a little bit later, just so bear with me. Around 2010 is when they pinpointed that something happened in the schools. Something different was happening to result in this. And what they found was the introduction of technology. So it could have been iPads. It could have been, more computers in the room. Like I remember when I was in school, like we had a computer lab and you were only exposed to the computer an hour a day.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even every day. It was like, I got the computer science today. And it was like 2 times a week or something.
We played Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
And you died of like dystopia.
Dysentery.
Dysentery. What's
dystopia?
I don't know.
Maybe you can.
I don't know. Dysentery is what I meant. I don't know.
And you did typing. Like it was so much fun, but we were exposed to it very intermittently. So in 2010, that increased, the technology increased. So they wanted to dig into really why though, because it isn't always just like, okay, this was introduced and then this happened. So that's causation. But what really was going on with it? What was the difference for us as human beings? What did that mean for us thinking, learning? What they found was that with the introduction of technology, students were not interacting with each other.
Mm.
And I'm paraphrasing this down. The study was longer than this, and he went on and on, which was fantastic. But I want to get to the meat of this one. And it came down to we were meant to learn from other people. Mm. We are meant. I want everyone to hear this. We are meant to learn from other people. And I struggle with this because I'm someone who's like, I know what's going on. I don't need to rehash this with somebody. I'm just going to bother them. There's all the things that come up.
We were raised as very independent women.
Yeah. I mean, like you just figured it out.
Were. Yeah.
Yeah. And so sitting here and talking to, I sit here and talk to you about it because you're my sister and we can, or I don't know, I don't talk to you about everything either because I'm like, oh, this is stupid. We think our story is stupid, but even though
it's not special.
It's not special. I lost weight and I've kept it off. But people need to hear it and we need to figure out what was this, what was it for you? When was that moment? Like this is important, I think, to really wrap our heads around because I know there's going to be people that listen to this that can relate to us being like, I don't need the community, blah, 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 but we are meant to learn from other people.
Yeah.
Whether it's what to do or what not to do. Yeah. I've learned a lot from people on what not to do. Like I've seen something, I'm like, I don't want to repeat that. So it's not always just learning what to do. It's learning what not to do as well. So we were meant to learn from other people, and that technology is removing that. It's actually, we refer to it in the lead program we do as, well, I'm sure other people refer to this too, but we specifically call this out at the beginning of the course and say that this is meant, everything in this course is meant to be learned with synagogy.
Mm-hmm. It's a type of education. It's synagogy. It's teaching team learning, essentially.
Adult learning through collaboration. Learning with among others is really what it is. So if you're busy looking at, if you don't have a good balance between the iPad, the computer, and then learning from others, that's missing. It's just, you are not going to be as cognitively resilient.
Mm-hmm. Our brains are, sorry, my voice is really scratchy today, so I apologize for everybody listening to this podcast. Our brains are actually very social. So we are social creatures. We're actually developed that way. So we have those endorphins and chemicals when we do interact with others. So I'm wondering did you see anything in the research around the brain development being affected by not having that kind of interaction?
He didn't go into
No.
that, but
Okay.
but it sounds like that's what
Probably
he would have,
happened. Okay.
what they would have gotten into
Okay.
if it would have been like,
Yeah.
and it was what I was listening to wasn't even really about it. It was like something that was brought up, and then they talked about, the individual who I heard the study from was actually originally a teacher turned neuroscientist.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
he was coming from, I know, very interesting. So he was a part of that. He saw some things. He was interested and curious enough to dive into it, like what that meant, and then to correlate it between the two. So that all to be said, if we go back to the original point around knowledge, I think we have to unpack that a little more than, because I think when we just are like, okay, the secret sauce is knowledge and priority. Okay, so I need to know all the things that I need to do when it comes to weight loss or maintaining, or what I need to do for my body, or what is the best for me, et cetera. And then I need to prioritize it. Got it. It's more than that, though.
Yeah.
Because if we're only behind a computer screen learning everything about what this one protein does to our body, or how our glucose responds to this one carb and all of that stuff, that's great. But if we aren't unpacking that with another person, we are not learning it. And when I say learning it, I'm going to also talk about internalizing things. So in the program that we teach in our day jobs, we also spend some time really talking about there is a difference between internalizing something and memorizing something. And I think knowledge can masquerade itself as memorization. And there's a big difference. So stick with me on this one. Memorization is you've just memorized something. I mean, I majored in musical theater. When you first start to sing, you sing all the classics. Classics being opera. Opera is typically not in English. It's in French. It's in Latin. It's in Greek. There's so many languages that I sang, but I memorized the songs. I could sing them today.
Mm-hmm. I still remember all the Latin songs I memorized. I don't speak Latin.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was actually saying, but I memorized it. I could sing it for you today, but did I internalize it? Did I actually understand what I was saying? Even if I did know the words, I think I would still call it memorization. Did I really internalize it? Did it become rooted in me in a way that it really means something? This kind of gets to our why a little bit. We're not going to go into that on this necessarily, but I want to throw that out there, because if I'm just telling you to get sleep because sleep is the foundational piece that is going to set your life up correctly. Let's take weight loss out of it. If you're not sleeping, things are not going to go your way as well as they could. So sleep is number one, foundational. But if you've just meant, okay, sleep is really great for me, and it, helps me metabolically, and, she said that it helps with my insulin resistance, and it helps with blood pressure, and you're just rattling all the things that you memorize, but what does it mean to you to internalize that?
Right, because if I'm getting sleep because Lori told me to,
right,
you're going to easily I can't get sleep tonight because I had to get this done, and so I'm not going to get to bed till 11 because this is due. But if you're getting sleep because sleep does X for you, it's going to mean so much more to you because it matters to you. That's your why. Is that what you're meaning?
Yeah.
Yeah. For whatever that reason is. I don't know. What does sleep mean to you? for
I
example?
think it means different things to me depending on what I've got going on.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm going to be taking a new job at work. I need to be on my game.
Yeah.
The last thing I need is to come in with an hour less sleep.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be my best. I'm not going to be able to show my value or add the value that I know that I intrinsically want to add
I don't connect the dots well.
with sleep.
If I don't get at least I would say at least 8 hours of sleep, I'm like a baby.
I am too.
Uh,
I need more
I
sleep than probably the average
yeah.
person, honestly.
I need at least 8 hours. I notice if I don't get at least 8, I don't connect the dots well. I'm not as quick on my feet.
Slower on the uptake.
Yep,
That's
I'm
me.
slower on the uptake. I'm pretty like snappy, quick-witted. Like I kind of have those like snappy, funny jokes. Like my direct manager is he is. We like to joke around a lot, and so I snap back really, really fast. Like we're really quick-witted together. And if I don't get my sleep, he just kind of looks at me like, "What's up with you?" You
You're
know what I
like,
mean?
look, I'm 70% today. You're just going to have to do
Like I'm just
it.
not with. Like he can tell.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm just not here today. So it's just I'm just not myself,
Mhm.
and I don't like not being me.
Mhm.
Like I don't want to show up not being who I am. Like that's important to me.
Life is more fun when you get to be
Yes.
present in a way that you are your full self.
Yeah. And maybe that sounds like a weak why, but like I want to come to work and just be the best version of myself. So
More fun.
yeah, and just have more fun and just make it a great day.
But if you're
that's-
constantly
yeah.
struggling, you're constantly trying to stand on your tiptoes to reach
Yeah.
that low bar that you've well surpassed. It's
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah.
And I'll tend to make I tend to make decisions quickly, but maybe I don't think through them all the way when I don't get enough sleep.
Yeah.
Like, this is the decision I'm going to make. That's it.
Yeah.
But I've missed something. There's just, anyways, that's just one option to think about when it comes to the tenets of weight loss and maintenance. And that's really just life in general is sleep. So what does it really mean to have knowledge around that? What does it mean to internalize? What does it really mean to you? If it does mean that stuff to you on a deep level and you've really connected with it, you've internalized it, and you don't just see it, I would almost say that it's a little too surface to see it as if I'm not sleeping, I'm not losing, which is true in and of itself. But I would say that is a low level corollary. It's just scratching the surface of what to really internalize getting the sleep means to you as a human being, as the person that you want to show up as your, what does it mean to the values that you have? One of my values is freedom. What is one of the things that is at risk if I don't have enough sleep?
Yep.
My freedom. I'm not as free as I possibly could be. I am completely bogged down.
Yeah.
I'm walking through fog.
Right.
I'm not able to hop from meeting to meeting in the same way that I could if I had the sleep.
It's almost a foundational brick, I guess you could say, of how you're going to build your day. Because if you don't get your sleep, then maybe you don't wake up on time, and then you're not gonna. You forgot your water.
I did.
Bottle the other day.
I couldn't believe it. I mean, that's the first time in like 3 years.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it either. And then you said, I don't know if did you say this on a podcast, or was it just to me?
I think it was just to you.
Just to me. You were like, and I couldn't believe it because you said you hadn't. I think you were behind on your water that day.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? I couldn't understand because we have bottled water in every meeting room at work. And I was like, just grab a bottle of water.
And I did.
And you did, but you were out of sorts. You did not have your bottle.
My binky,
Yeah,
which is
you
my
did not-
bottle.
You did not have your binky. I love that you called it a binky. That's so adorable. But you didn't have it. It wasn't your routine. So, I mean, I don't know why you forgot your bottle of water, but
It was a new one. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I was
But,
sleep
you know.
deprived. I was coming back from vacation.
But maybe that was it. I mean, you didn't have some foundational layer. So, I mean, you can really get messed up if you don't have something like sleep. So it really is, it does build on each other. So it's important.
We have a VIP group, and there's an individual in the VIP group. And at the beginning of the year, I love that she set this as like one of the things that she's going to conquer this year. And she said sleep.
I love that.
Because that is the one thing, not that this is becoming a sleep podcast, but we're just using this one as an example.
That, yeah.
But it is really important.
Yeah.
If that's right for her, everything else cascades and will start to right itself based off of that being where it needs to be. So I was like, you know what? I think that's a really good focus for you.
Yeah. Well, you were talking, and we just finished a podcast. Hopefully we post it before this one. We mentioned it was on self-perception theory, and we talked about fake it till you make it. And, that's not really knowledge or internalizing.
No.
You don't really believe it yet. So you're really just going through the motions, and you really are just almost tricking your brain. You're faking it till you make it. You don't really believe it yet. You don't really understand it. It doesn't really mean something to you. But that is a part of, I wanted to go there because I think it is connected to this topic, because that is a part of understanding, and it is a part of internalizing. It is almost the first step to start thinking about that topic, to understand it, to just hold that thought in your head and just mull it over.
It almost gets a little bit to your identity.
It does. But you can't stay there. You can't, and I guess it is fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
But you have to make it. You can't just fake it for the rest of your life. You do have to eventually. We always say internalization is holding two opposing ideas in your mind.
Two opposing thoughts, two opposing ideas.
Yeah.
Give an example.
It could be, I don't need sleep. I'll sleep when I'm dead, right? That's a common saying. Maybe you don't think sleep is important. And maybe the other thought is sleep is important because I function better when I sleep. And you can just go about your life, and this might sound silly to people, but you might wrestle with that idea because maybe you don't have time for sleep. Everybody's busy. You have kids, you have work, you have family. You're
taking care of aging parents.
Yeah, you're taking care of aging parents. You have a house to clean. You have all these responsibilities in life, but you also have you and your body. And they always say, you got to put I know we have some flight attendants out there in the group, like you got to put the breathing mask on first. You got to take care of yourself. So you have to wrestle with those two ideas. What is most important? What do you have to prioritize, which we're not getting to that yet, but maybe we're getting to that point. What is important? Is sleep important? Do I need to really focus on that? Am I somebody who sleeps? And you really have to just think about that and weigh those thoughts and continue to think about it and think about it and think about it. And eventually you're going to continue to bring it up in your mind, continue to weigh the pros and cons of both of those ideas. And you're going to start to talk about it with people because you're going to start to question it. And that's when the community is so important. That synergy that we talked about. This community, your family, your coworkers, talking to people who have gone through what we have all gone through is so important because you don't have to struggle with it by yourself. That's the beauty.
We all are mostly struggling with the same kind of thing anyways.
That's the beauty of a group. Like you don't have to do it by yourself. Like you can just talk to other people. You ask them what they think about it, and they're like, yeah, I've done that. And it didn't work or it did work. And this is what happened.
I had a friend that tried this and this is what happened. Maybe you try that for 3 nights. It's and maybe you're not going to get this light bulb moment every
No,
time you communicate with somebody,
no.
but there's going to be some nugget that shows up. And you're going to be
Or,
like, oh my God, that person does it too?
or hey, I know of somebody
Mm-hmm.
who, that 6 degrees of separation, and they might connect you with somebody. And, um, the hearing loss podcast that we talked about, I I looked at Lori and I was like, I don't think it's going to help anyone. And she told me, she was like, no, let's talk about it. And there was more people than I ever thought would reach out and make comments. So I thought that was amazing.
You don't know who's watching
Yeah.
and who's not watching
Yeah.
and who it affects.
It's amazing. This community is amazing. So community is so important. So talk to others about it. And eventually, you're going to land on what is most important to you. And you're going to develop that corollary. What that thought, that idea means to you. And that's when you're going to internalize it. And that's when you understand. That's when you get that knowledge and you're going to internalize it. And then you become that person that sleeps, and then it becomes your why.
Mm-hmm. And you do fake it till you make it along the way.
And then you make it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, I don't really. Can I give you another thought too on that as well?
Yeah.
So I'm viewed. No one is seeing you go to bed at this time, but you are. You're judging yourself for doing those things, and then you have this belief that I'm now this person that. Am I old? Am I not fun? Am I, so you have so those could be two opposing thoughts too. Like, okay, this is what I should be doing, but I also have this belief about me. There also could be something about that other belief about feeling that you are not fun. Let's stick on that one. If you go to sleep early, there could be something that's tied to something that she values as well.
Mm.
She could value being accepted into a part of a crowd or a group or viewed as somebody who is fun. I want to be humorous. I want to be a fun person. So if that's a value of hers, and then
you're going up a level into values.
Yeah. So I know I'm dragging that into it, but I think that
it's important.
They're all interconnected.
That's the only way to absolve, I guess, or satisfy that opposing thought, not opposing, but the issue, I guess you could say there. Yeah.
And it's not that, I think when people think I have two opposing thoughts, I have to choose the right one. And the right one is to have sleep. That's not what we're saying here either. And I want that to be really clear. We aren't forcing you to pick one or the other. The whole point would be to allow space for that thought to live there with the other one, that sleep is, me going to bed early is going to be the best for me.
Because sometimes you're not going to go to bed early.
No.
It's not life is life.
So if you don't, are you also thinking, well, now I'm somebody that isn't prioritizing myself, and I don't believe in doing this stuff, and I'm no good at it. And then there's there can be a shame guilt loop that comes into it.
Right. But the way I have my understanding, my self-knowledge, I guess, and the way that I have chosen to prioritize sleep, I have an 80-20 rule. 80, actually it's probably like 90-10, because I am okay being that older person.
Yeah, I am too.
I love sleep. To me, my priority, because I prefer to, I appreciate being able to function on all cylinders during the day. That is my freedom. Like, I would prefer that over staying up late at night and
having your freedom in that moment.
Yeah, my freedom is being free during the day. I would rather have that freedom. So that's my give and take. That's my priority. But that might not be somebody else's priority, and that's fine. So like, I have a 90-10 rule. There are days where I don't get 8 hours of sleep.
Me neither.
And that's,
even though I tried my
fine.
best.
Yeah, that's fine. And I make those decisions, and I live with it. And I have no regret, no guilt. That's my life. I'm an adult. I made those decisions, and I own that throughout the day, and I make the best of my day, and walk proudly with my head held high, you know?
I think let's take another example. A lot of people, we have all heard it. We actually mentioned this in our resilience training during our day jobs because sleep is a foundational
Mm-hmm. Pillar.
pillar in that program. I'll just, I'll sleep when I'm dead. And there's a badge of honor people wear if they don't get enough sleep and they're putting in their hard work. You are not I think there are people out there that believe that if they are prioritizing sleep over work, then they are not a good employee. They're not doing their absolute 110% best at what they're doing. If I chose to go to sleep over staying up and finishing this one presentation, report, whatever it is, whatever, graph, whatever, then I'm not a good employee. Those are two opposing thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you choose? Because you do have to do something.
Mm-hmm. I have all kinds of thoughts on that, but
Go ahead.
I mean, it's time management. I mean, from as an HR perspective, it's time management skills, and if you without knowing the situation,
I know.
right? I mean, you're speaking in very vague terms, but it's prioritization again.
I know
and
they actually really
I know.
link together.
They do. I really
As
didn't
we're
realize that
talking
they
through
did.
this, I didn't either.
But I mean, these are basic competencies and skills. It's time management, and if you got it down to the wire and you have to stay awake to get this done, then that's kind of on you, honestly, unless this really fell in your lap at the last minute and blah, 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 blah.
But if that's the case, it is only it's only a one-off. It shouldn't be happening every night. And that is going to happen.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, we've all probably all done it. We've probably all done that, but
I pulled an all-nighter.
But there is, I think we probably all have.
But not very often.
But there is, I don't appreciate or think it's impressive when people wear that badge of honor. I don't think that's impressive. Oh wow. Like that does nothing for me.
We're to the point in our, I guess you could say careers though, that if someone has to do that, then it's actually a red flag that they aren't able to manage their time correctly.
Yes.
And that is something we actually
I find it
strive for.
Yes. I find it more impressive when people can manage their time because one, it means that they can actually manage people. They can manage their own time. It means that they can actually manage their work-life balance a little bit. I hate that term, work-life balance, but there's burnout. If people are doing that, they're going to burn out, which means they're not going to be at this company for the long haul. Major red flags. So
it also, for me, and maybe this is not the right way to look at it, but it throws up a little bit of victim mentality for me.
Yes.
That they are blaming others because they do not have time to do something, when in all actuality, it is the employee's responsibility to set the boundaries and to manage their time.
It's time management. It
yes,
just comes back to
you
that.
have a core fundamental objective to get things done that is a part of your role. And that could be through weight loss. That could be at work. It could be as a parent. It could be as a caretaker. That's 100% reality.
Right.
But it is on you to prioritize and to manage your time to make that happen. So for me, if they aren't doing it, they're placing the blame where they're not, it's not extreme ownership.
Yep. And that's why I'm not impressed when that happens. It's like when people say that they're so busy. That's a red flag too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, we're all busy, but when you're walking around screaming it from the rooftops, it's, you have time to stand around at the printer and water cooler. I know that's a really old saying, but you have time to sit around and gossip about how busy you are. I don't know if you're really all that busy. It's just a little odd to me.
I think that's important to talk about because a lot of people, and when they're first starting on a weight loss journey, they'll talk about all the things that they cannot do.
Mm-hmm.
I can't give up potatoes. I'm not saying you have to give up potatoes to do anything, but if that's a part of maybe something that you've chose to do for a period of time, nope. I've had someone say, I would rather die than give up potatoes to me. Or I just can't learn this technology, or I just can't drink all that water by 5:00. Then drink what you can. But doing nothing is also not an option. That is on you.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a diversionary tactic. That's the same kind of thing
Yeah.
as I'm super busy. Well, I can't, I haven't, I'm not able to, all of those things. It smacks of the victimhood to me. And I get really sensitive to that.
And excuses. Again, you don't know their circumstances. So I don't mean to sound like we're uncaring, but it sounds like excuses to me.
You're not setting it. And I think that goes to the secondary one is you are not then either ready to do this or you have not fully set it as a priority.
Yeah.
Because if it is a priority, if I've got all the knowledge and I've internalized what it means to stick to the real food when I'm, let's give an example of I'm going out to a restaurant and I've been in my weight loss mode for 6 months. This is the first time allowing myself to go out. I have all the knowledge of what I need to do, of the foods that I need to choose. I now know that I'm just going to stick to a protein, a fat, and a vegetable. I'm going to lay off the carbs. So I maybe on this go round, I would choose not to have the bread. I would choose not to have potatoes. I would choose not to go really starchy on whatever vegetables I do choose. That's all knowledge. That's all the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
You can read. There's so much knowledge out there to figure all that out. But the basics are I'm going to choose a meat, a vegetable, and then I'll have some kind of a fat. You go to the restaurant and let's say you even looked at the menu before you went. I picked out exactly what I was going to have. Oh, there's this chicken, blah, blah, blah. It's a grilled chicken. I'm going to ask them what they grill it on, but I'm not going to let that be a hill to die on. I'm going to ask for the mashed potatoes that typically come with that meal to be substituted for their steamed vegetables, which is broccoli and carrots and cauliflower or whatever. And then I'm going to ask for, some melted butter on the side or something. Maybe that's what I'm going to do. Or you're going to have the salad with ranch on the side, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
No. And then me too. You get there. They're out of the chicken. Don't have it. You know what? We're out of the ranch too. We just didn't get those. There was a time recent, I think it was during COVID, it wasn't that recent, where there was some sort of a shortage of the ranch seasoning. So whenever we were going to a couple of our,
my eyes just popped out of my
I think it was Brozini's. They were like, we don't have our ranch because there's a
wow.
seasoning shortage. Anyways, so it is
Okay.
actually
Wow.
has happened to me. If your priority isn't rooted in choosing those things, no matter what you could go any direction because now there's no boundary for you. You hadn't planned for a backup scenario.
Have a plan B.
I do now,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
I always have a plan B. This happened to me though. I had planned on getting this one thing. They didn't have it. And I'm someone who doesn't, I find it very arduous to have a plan B every time. So this was pointed out to me on some sort of personality test in the last few years where
I remember that.
I'm someone who just doesn't,
Yeah.
because plan A is so perfect, why would I ever have a plan B?
Yeah.
So ever since that was pointed out to me, I'm like, oh man, I
find
do
that people disappoint me. So
So you already have.
I always have a plan B.
I never did.
Plan A is perfect, but people always mess up. So I always have to have
Ever since then, though, I have made a point to have a backup plan or at least a direction I know I would go in. But for this one, I did not have a backup plan. There's no reason they wouldn't have had the chicken. Like, it's chicken. Come on. Who doesn't have chicken?
It's chicken.
Well, they didn't have chicken.
Interesting.
They didn't have it. So I had a moment of like, oh, crap. What do I do now? Like, oh. But my priority was so set in what I needed to do. I didn't even have the thought of, well, I'm just going to have the
fried fish.
Yeah. Or the pasta. Now I'm going to do
Pasta,
chicken fettuccine with pasta and completely, let's just, But I think there would have been a time around the mountain that I would have done that.
Yeah.
But this last time, I was so set on this time being different. And I had set the priority that this is what I was going to do come hell or high water. And I think that's what priority means to me is come hell or high water, we're doing what we're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to drink the water, whether I forget my water bottle or not. We are going to get the protein, the fat, and the vegetable, whether they have what I originally intended to get or not. I pivoted pretty quickly. I ended up getting a fish and then the same kind of thing. I was just switching out the meat. It isn't even that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we try to make these things mean more than they should because on some level, if we're not ready to set it as a priority, we're looking for an excuse for it not to be a priority.
Yeah. I think if your knowledge turns into a why and it's deep enough, then that priority is just so natural.
They just are like two hands with fingers interlocking.
I mean, our conversation it just so naturally went into, I didn't expect it to
I didn't
go
expect them to. I
into priority so easily. but it
completely
did.
saw them as two separate things.
Yeah, I did too. Wow.
Anything else you would add?
No, that was amazing.
Knowledge versus priority. Knowledge and priority. I think we just have to be curious enough to turn to if we've really internalized something when it comes to the knowledge. Is there always more to learn? Yes.
Absolutely.
I don't think I'm not even close to knowing everything there is about the brain and the human body and how they interact. And then this one thing that happened to you, how that affects you now that you're in your 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s and beyond. Like it doesn't stop.
I think we're just now figuring it out as well.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
we're just scratching the surface on the science of it. So that's never ending. And I think one more thing I did want to mention around this is knowledge around learning something. When you learn something new, you should expect to feel frustrated. You should expect to be stretched. You should expect for it not to be easy all the time. I'm not saying it has to be this huge mountain that you're climbing every time you learn something new, but when you really are learning something down to your bones, you are going to be frustrated because it's more than likely, especially as you get into our age bracket and beyond, you've learned a lot of stuff already. And it's really frustrating for the brain to have thought that it had the beat on something and then to now for that to have been completely turned upside down and now it's the opposite or it's not, or there's this one variable that you need to make sure that you add in because that's going to get you to the next level. Whatever. Our brains don't like that.
Remember that use stress from Hans Selye and get comfortable being uncomfortable, that psychological positive stress. It's frustrating a little bit, but you're learning something. So if you can learn to recognize that frustration means that you're almost peeling an onion of knowledge and that it's going to turn into a good thing, then you can tolerate that frustration. And I don't know, I kind of get excited.
I know.
Because you can recognize that you're learning.
There's two times, there's probably more than two times that this shows up for those that are on this journey. One, when you're first starting and you're learning something new, like a new app. Like if you decide to whether it's the Lose It app or there's all kinds of apps out there now, which actually is really interesting. Now, some of the apps, you can just take a picture of your food and it tells you the calories through AI. Not super accurate that I found because I actually took this to the test. I took a picture of my food and I actually weighed and measured it and put it in manually. It was like a 400 calorie difference, by the way.
Oh.
It was not insignificant in my opinion. I think 50 calories is probably pretty close.
400 calories is a big deal.
It was huge. It didn't know the oil that was in it. And oil,
Oh, yeah.
But anyways.
Wow. Okay.
So I think AI could potentially get there. I just don't think it's something that we're going to see. Anyways.
Okay.
So, yeah. So when you first start out and you're learning something new, you're learning the food you need to do. Okay, so I really like hamburgers, but I can't have a burger. Well, you can have a burger. You just need to have your burger a little different. Like you just need to
Mhm.
tweak it a little bit. So that's not easy to figure out for people who've never done that before. It's not easy to learn a new technology if you've never done it before. Those are going to be the moments when you first start out that are going to stretch you, that are going to frustrate you, but your brain is learning something new. So it's supposed to be like that. It
Mhm.
is supposed to be like that. There's nothing wrong with you if you feel like that. In fact, if you didn't feel a little bit frustrated, I would say you're not doing it right. I'd say you're not fully in there doing what you need to do to figure it out. So expect that and that there's nothing wrong with it at the beginning. It's not always like that. You master something. You finally get the clicks. You finally know where to go and which buttons to select and then of course we all get frustrated when they update an app and then now I don't see, we get it's that muscle memory. We get really used to where to
Mhm.
go at the beginning. And then you're trucking along, you're doing the things. If you do choose to change something up during weight loss mode, that could also be a frustrating time too. I got really bored with some of the food that I had. And I had a good 5, 6 meals at the beginning that was on rotation that was pretty good. Like I was on autopilot with them. Like it's a taco bowl. It's
A burger bowl.
a burger
Yeah,
bowl. It
I
was
remember them.
then you could do fajitas
Uh-huh.
and there's an egg roll in a bowl. Like it's pretty much anything you could do in a bowl or deconstruct it in some way. I did a
Mhm.
pizza bowl, all those things. But I get really bored with it. I'm like, I want to try sour cream chicken enchiladas. How can I make that fit what I'm doing? And it gets I would notice that there was more energy I had to expend those weeks, so it was a little bit more frustrating for me. But then when you get into maintenance, there's also guardrails that are taken off and you have to learn something new then. So I think there's two big moments during your journey. In the beginning, when you've really decided that this is what you're doing and you set it as a priority and you start to learn something new, that's when you can experience that frustration. And then when you get into maintenance, there's a if you're going to be adding in calories, you're going to be adding in different things. You need to figure out what works with you because we're not all the same. Some brains are a little more susceptible to some addictive food patterns. So in maintenance, yeah, Lindsay's pointing to herself. I'm pointing to me too. Like
Yeah, it's bad.
I'm not able to just go, all right, cool. Let's just go and have a cinnamon roll or a piece of bread. I need to have it planned and I need to know that I'm going to struggle with
Mhm.
myself in wanting more for probably a good 2 to 3 weeks. That's just the way my brain is wired. And I know that now, but I didn't know that when I first got into maintenance either. So there's going to be some frustration trying to figure out what works for you because what works for others isn't always what works for you. Okay. So knowledge, priority, you need them both.
Until next time, stay curious.
Keep experimenting.